Uh,
All right, so here we go. We're doing the new OC promotions, and this week we've got Nick Lafferty on the call. So congratulations, Nick, for your promotion to organizational consultant in Dallas.
yeah, no, I appreciate that. It was a fun time, and I'm excited to be on this call with you guys.
And so overall, how did you feel? I mean, actually, maybe I can back it up and you can answer that question. How did you feel? But just kind of give us your journey because it wasn't like you're like Jolene and hey, I've been in the business 4 or 5 years and one
Yeah,
thing after the next. I mean, you're a warrior who's been doing this for a minute. So give us your backstory and then tell us kind of how you felt in
yeah,
Dallas.
yeah. No, I definitely not like the Jolene story. I've been in the business for about 15 years, give or take, and I came in right out of school. I started as I was actually in school still. I started as an intern down in Baltimore. And I really just wanted to get some sales experience. I was studying, finance, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I jumped in. I had a cousin who kind of pushed me to go get some sales experience. So I kind of found our business and our space, and that ended up leading to me just working full time for a summer, and that was my whole goal. And then it turned into part time while I was in school, and then I said, hey, I think I can go do this, and I had some things that happened, and I kind of committed myself to the long term and the bigger picture. And the goal was always to get promoted to consultant. So, I started in Baltimore. We're doing some B2B campaigns. We did Verizon, we did Quill, and then I moved up to Boston as a leader and did some res stuff there. And then I ran my first office in Jersey. And I always joke around. I was like, I was so good at running my first office. After a couple of years, they asked me not to run it for a little while, and then had to get some retrain going. And then I've been up in the Northeast for a while. I stayed at a retrained up in Boston, and then when I opened back up, I played in a Sunday men's basketball league. So my first day I played in this league, first game of the season, new guys, new team. I think I had like 11 turnovers, the first game. And then by the end of the season, I was nominated for steal of the draft. So it slowed down. That game slowed down for me. I think the business slowed down for me when I came out of the retrain, and then we started having some success and promoting out deals, and it's probably exactly what I needed. And then when COVID happened, I ended up moving to Connecticut. So I'm down here in Hartford, Connecticut now, working with a small fiber company here and some AT&T, and yeah, we just hit the requirements to get promoted to senior to not senior to organizational consultant. So we're excited.
Wishful thinking, huh? You're already
I'm
looking at
already
the
there.
next promotion. Yeah.
I'm already thinking on the next one. So
On to the next one. And
yeah,
so
but
how did you
how,
feel?
how
I
did
mean, just walk through that moment in time for you.
yeah, I mean, it was fun, and obviously I've had a lot of time to think about it, and I talked about this when I was up on stage, but it definitely felt a little surreal. You had the anxiety of just a big event. I always joked around I never want to get promoted at NatCon because a lot more people there, but I didn't really have the choice with that. So I was definitely, nervous. It was fun. It was great. There's a lot of emotions. My family was there. I think it was awesome for them to see, for my wife and kids and my parents that came up. And I was like afterwards, I kind of felt like my wedding day because my wedding day when I got married, it's like everything was a blur. And then afterwards, you're like, okay, wait, what all happened? And you're trying to remember, all the events. So it felt a little bit of the same, um, but it was a really special moment just having my family there with it and having them meet all the guys in the team, and that was probably the coolest part of the entire weekend for me.
Was that your family's first exposure to the business, or have they been around? Have they been to an event before?
My wife's been to like R&Rs, we've been to some R&Rs over the years, but that was their first time at an event like that, and for most of them, especially my kids. That was their first time.
Hmm.
Somehow my daughter fell asleep right in the middle of national conference on the chairs with her headphones on. So
Yeah, not while you were talking though.
no,
Yeah.
no, yeah, just right afterwards.
And Elijah's kids running all over the place. Like Elijah's trying to stay focused. And it's like, my kids are like,
My
maybe.
kids went to bed before that, so my kids would be doing the same thing if I had the late night speech,
Yeah.
because they just wouldn't be able to hang. They'd be all over the place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I plan on bringing my family to Nashville. So that'll be their first exposure. It'll be Keys to Success in
Yeah.
January. I think we're doing it.
Yeah.
Um, a couple big promotions happening, and these people mean a lot to my family, so that'll be interesting. Plus, there will be quite a bit of money being handed out on stage at Keys as well, so that'll be eye-opening for my family.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun event. I feel like that's gonna be a pretty big party to celebrate for sure. So yeah, Nashville NatCon was the first time I talked about it when like I saw your promotion and that had such an impact on me in those early years when I was just like created that image and I was like, I want that. I want those moments. You got a lot of recognition, and you had they was it the Boys and Girls Club, did that video for you. And I remember your speech. You were talking about like the
Mm.
lessons you learned in the field with the nice neighborhood, the rich neighborhood you were pitching. And I was like, it's that 15 years ago. I still remember it, like that's how much impact
Wow.
it had. So
Wow, you know that speech well. I remember when the Boys and Girls Club thing came out, like right off the bat, they're making me cry. I'm like, I haven't even started talking yet, and you guys are bringing me to tears. But
uh,
yeah, I remember Nashville. This one's going to be pretty special though, because I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but there's a guesstimate of how much money is going to get handed out on stage. Any clue? Any guess?
well, I mean,
Got the
uh,
voting owner
yeah,
bonus.
if I had to guess, it might be it's gonna probably be over $30 million.
Yeah, a little less, like
A little less. Okay.
22 million-ish, which
22.
is like
Yeah.
that's a party I want to attend. Let me.
Yeah. And yeah, I didn't know. Is that including everything, promoting owner bonus plus,
Consultant bonus.
it's not, I was thinking full consultant bonus, but spread
Yeah,
out a few
just a
years. Oh,
third.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just a
just a third.
third. That's
Yeah.
okay.
I'm just picturing this. My son will be 16 years old. He'll witness this, and I'm picturing me getting on the flight with him after, and I'll be like, "So, Dad, so how do I join the business exactly? Like, what do I got to do?" Because that's
It
that'll
was
be a
funny.
moment.
My wife was hanging out, I think the next day with my family and they're at the pool. And she said it was right after the general session. And my wife asked my brother, because I have a 16-year-old brother who was there at the event. And she said,
Hmm.
"Hey, what do you think?" Obviously, it's his first time exposed. Like, do you want to get into business? Like, what's your thoughts around that? And he told my wife, he goes, watching all those people go up there and speak and just how that much they cared. It was like watching your favorite superhero movie and then wanting to become the superhero
Hmm.
afterwards. And I
Hmm.
was like, that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
I mean, it certainly is a business we can all be, proud of. Like I mean, I used to take my son to the office all the time. I just wanted him to see like a positive work environment where people aren't like staring at a clock, like, can we just get done? I hate my job. Like, no, these are people that want to spend time with each other. I have to kick them out of the office. Like, listen, get out of here. Go get a life, all that stuff. So, it's just a really unbelievable culture, really second to none in my opinion. But I'm very much anticipating a fun event,
yeah,
and
I think
you're
so
going to be
too.
participating in that event, Nick
Yeah,
Lafferty. So how
cool.
awesome is that?
It's gonna be fun.
So help me connect some dots. I mean, I probably should ask you this offline, but you started with Chapman.
Well, so my promoting owners were partnered with Eric Chapman.
Oh, I see.
So
Got
they
it.
were partnered. I was in the same space.
Got
So I
it.
got to watch Eric run Eric and him run the office together, and I was just on the other side of the other
Okay.
team. And
Got it.
but I yeah built a good relationship with them.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Well, that answers that question. I was just curious how that happened. Um, and so you tell me if I'm wrong, but here's my perspective. Like, so it's not like you and I talk every other week or anything like that. We don't have like a recurring call, but I always saw you. You were just, I mean, from the minute you were like a rookie in the business to even now, like just always a straight up guy, always real positive, real steady. And so it just seems like, at least from my perspective, for the last 15 years, you've just been kind of slow, steady, incremental growth, like no big swings. Like you didn't have a year where you doubled your production and then another year where your production got cut in half. Like again, no big swings, just you just remind me of like buying the S&P index and you're getting 10% year over year over year, compound that over 15 years, and all of a sudden you've got this huge, organization where you're doing, 5 million plus in org production. Is that an accurate perspective?
Yeah, I think so. I think. I think I even said this to you at one of the last conferences. It was like, I think after once, once I opened up, it was like, if you look at my org production every year, it was like, we got a little bit better, and I think there's probably some things. I probably had more swings early on in my career for sure, and I think there were some things, especially when I stopped running an office, where I was definitely too much of a victim, and that's what kind of put me in that spot. So like my mindset now is like I really just focus on what I can control, like, and that's it. That's all where all my time, energy, and efforts are. I don't get upset about things that are outside of my control, and I just try to show up the same way every day for my guys, and just set that example. So I feel like if you see me at Keys, in January, it's probably the same energy I probably brought the Keys my third year in, and I love the business. I'm passionate about it. I love the people. I love the path that, we get to take, and even from ownership to consultant and beyond. And I get excited every day, to come in. Like I was, I flew in, I got back from Idaho. I'm on West Coast time for a few days, adjusted, but now I'm out on the East Coast, and I got in at like 12:30 last night, and it was my kid's first day of school, and it's like, well, that's a priority for me, right? I got a second grader and a kindergartner, and the kindergartner's going on the bus for the first time with his big brother. So I was like, I'm getting up early. Dad's making pancakes this morning, and we're getting ready, So as tired as I was, like my family's was my priority. And then I was like, once I got the family on the bus, I'm like, cool, I'm off. And I'm like, I'm giving my business all the energy that it needs, and being there for the guys, even though, you know, you have some drinks with some of the people out there and you're in Idaho, they hit differently out there. I don't know if it's elevation or what, but I was tired, but I'm like, I care, and I got to come through for my guys and my people. So I think it's always in the back. I get to work with these guys. I don't, it's an honor to be able to work with my team, and I've always felt that way. So, I'm always trying to prove my worth to my guys, and I think that's been my mindset for a while.
Mm. And so, again, with your incremental, steady growth, and again, 15 years, I'm just curious because I think one of the things that I've experienced over the years and that I've heard, and you go to, especially when you go to a conference and you see somebody who's doing so well, right? Like Gurnit's going to do 5 million this year, just his own ICL. His promoting owner bonus is he's going to break a new record with the new PO bonus, right? And when you compare yourself to somebody who's doing that well, you can end up feeling like garbage. Like, hey, what's wrong with me? Like and again, it's a false mindset. Like, well,
Yeah.
everybody's doing so well. It's almost like social media can do that to you as well. Like, dude, not everybody's doing so well. You're just focusing on a few individuals that happen to be the rock stars. So how did you kind of stay, how did you not get rattled, I guess is my
Yeah. I
question.
mean, I think, I don't, to be honest, I don't think that's ever rattled me. And maybe it's like, I just don't have an ego about that stuff. One, if it's, I'm not the one winning and setting this amazing bar and example, like, well, what story do I tell? I need to tell a story for the guy, for everyone to know what the upside is. And when we got people in our business doing that work, I'm like, they make my life easier. Gurneet going out there crushing it like he is, like my opportunity meetings are better because I get to tell his, what's going on there. And I think I also just have to think, just because he's doing it, why can't we go do that too? So it just, we're in the same business. So that means we have the potential to hit it. And just because if we're not there, we're not pacing at the same level right now. That doesn't mean we're bad people. That just means, hey, there's always room for improvement. We can get better and adjust. So I've never had an ego about that. Like I always wanted people around me to be winning. Like I thought it wasn't like the guy that, other leaders high rolled me and is like, I'm gonna take you down. Like I was like, we can all win, and I think that stuff just never, it's really never bothered me. I wish I knew why. I am
That's good.
competitive, but it's like, I want to see these guys win, and I think it's great when they're pacing at such a high level because it just shows us all what's possible. And it probably helps my guys in my office. And so it just makes the business easier for me.
Well, I mean, I love your perspective, and I don't think you need to do a deep dive on yourself. Like, oh, what's wrong with me? How come I'm not comparing? No, it's good that you're not,
Yeah.
but again, that there's a line I regurgitate often, which is, comparison is the thief of joy. If you're always comparing yourself to other people, like, I mean, that's the recipe for being unhappy. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
And so you've never experienced that, it sounds like.
I'm sure I have, or I've thought it, or I'm like, man, it would be great, but it's not like it's never overtaken me because I'm glad with where I'm at, and I'm happy with the things that we have, and business and family. Of course, everything could always be better, but I also know it's everything I have is a result of my own decisions that I've made up until this point. So,
Right.
it.
That might be part of your steady mindset, just your steady. Even your disc profile, I'm curious, what are you?
No, I'm an I.
You're an I.
So I love my like under stress. I'm like, how do people feel?
Hmm.
I need people around me to feel good,
Hmm.
So I'm big on the people side of everything.
Hmm. Okay, well, that's great. Well, let's transition to that. I asked you, your biggest strength. Like, so, 15 years of powering through the business, getting your promotion, and I wasn't surprised to hear you say the relationships, like you really feel like that's a strength of yours, your ability to develop, build, invest, have your people trust in you. So just kind of talk us through, your perspective of, how to build successful relationships in the business.
Yeah, I think I mean, the trust you have with your guys is like really gonna dictate a lot. So I just try to early on build relationships, and it's not always like we have to go way far out of our way, and spend a lot of time outside the office. Like I just like I want to genuinely get to know the people that are important to me and I think are going to have big impact in my office and just like what makes them tick, what they're excited about, what their goals are, and just have some really honest conversations about where we're at and what's going on. And I think when so I spend a lot of time early on in the process, just like getting to know people. I'm really open about my story and my situation and where I'm at. So it's not like I'm guarded with anything. So like I'm an open book. So I think I'm like, ask me any question you want and I'll have a conversation so people feel comfortable, coming and talking to me. And then we get into some good conversations. And then I think you build a lot of trust that way, and they know what my intentions are. If I ever make a mistake or did something and I don't feel good, I'll be the first to admit it and I'll own up to it. I don't have, like I said, it goes back to I don't have the ego about it. It's like I'll own anything in any relationship. So if I say, hey, I apologize, I made a mistake here, like my guys don't hold it against me too long. I'm sure they, hopefully they don't. I guess if they'll see this, maybe I'll get some messages saying otherwise. But I try to be open, honest. Here's where I'm at. Here's what's going on. Here's what I'm seeing, and I think that if you just have those constant conversations early on, and you really get to know somebody, and you can build that trust, then it's like you can get down to business. And then those like tough conversations aren't tough because it's like we're on the same page and we got mutual goals here that we're pushing towards. So we're just having honest conversations, and it's not a lot of emotion involved with it, or you're not tiptoeing around everything, but it's like you just have that trust there, and I think that's necessary. So
And so, I mean, how do they know your intentions? Right. So, I mean, I hear what you're saying, where it's like, well, listen, if they know your intentions are good, they're not going to judge you so harshly because you made mistakes. They're going to be forgiving. I believe that to be true. But how do you convey your intentions? Like, obviously, if they know your intent and your intent is good, they'll trust you. But how do you communicate that?
yeah, I think one, you have to be clear on your goals and what you want and what you're working towards, and you have to have a clear vision for that. And then I think I tell people how great I think they can be, and so I'll kind of I'll put that out there like, hey, I think you're going to be an owner. And I don't just say that to anyone, like, you're all going to be owners, because the reality is you're all not going to be. And when I'm having those conversations, if I see someone's got some potential, I'm not afraid to just tell them that and tell them how great I think they can be. And I think if you help them call their shot for them early on when they're not that confident at calling their own shot, but you kind of give them the goal and you're like giving them some targets and you're creating something that you're like, this is where we're going, that you should want to be a part of this. I think you can help give them give them some goals. So I think I probably just do that. If they're not really clear on what their goals are and what they want and what they're working towards, and I got to be able to paint it. But some people come in, they're like really clear. I want this type of life I want. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let me fit the business to you, and show you how you can get what you want and what you're passionate about right now. And the reality is that could change. That's going to change 5 years, 10 years. Some goals that you had, Jamie, 10 years ago. I'm sure some of them are a little bit different, or your passions that you had then might be slightly different now, or what you thought, whatever. But um, so but I think if they're not that clear on their goals, well, give them some goals. Tell them how great they can be. Give them the target to go for, and then if they buy into you and they buy into what we're about and they see the vision, why not go for it?
Mm,
And I remember someone said this on stage one time they got promoted. They're like, we all want this. You paint the picture for what you can get, and whether it's getting promoted, being a senior national and the type of life that you like. No one would say I don't want that. We all would say we want it.
mm,
And so I think if you can create that, like, this is where we're going and why it's worth it, then I think you'll get that. The It'll help move that relationship to the mutual
yeah.
direction there.
Yeah. And the people with high potential, I mean, I'm picturing that conversation like for sure. That to me, those are easy conversations to have. Hey, I see this potential in you. Here are the characteristics I see with you. And so that's a very positive convo. What about somebody that you're a little iffy on, like, he's not a nine, he's not Michael Jordan in your office. It's somebody who's, performing a little less. You're not going to blow smoke at that
No, I'm
individual.
not
So,
blowing smoke up it, because there's certain you know, you have to be willing to do certain things and performing at a certain standard. So I'm not going to blow smoke up someone, but again, I have a good relationship with them. They trust me. So I just, we can have conversations and work through things without them just getting frustrated and quitting the next day because they're
yeah,
like, yeah, maybe Nick's right, and and then, and again, I have their best interest. I want to see them win.
yeah,
So, they know I'm going to try to push them forward as best as I can, you know.
yeah, yeah. That's great. And so we're almost at time, but I'm curious your work-life balance between obviously you're a married guy, you've got a couple young kids, you're right in the thick of things, you've got an
Three.
organization. Three kids, my bad. What's the age of your third?
She's three.
Three. Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
you really are in the thick of things.
I'm in the thick of it. Yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Yep.
You're not
Yep.
gonna produce a basketball team here and get two
No,
more? No?
no. We got, you know, my daughter might be the center. The boys will be the guards.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So three kids, I mean, you're stretched. Is that fair to say?
yeah. Yeah. It is. But I think you take care of business, business takes care of you, right? So I think I've built a situation where I have a lot of freedoms. I live 1 minute away from my house and where my office is, we have physical location. So, all right, it might be a minute and a half, but I live really close. So, even like to use today as an example, right? Like, came into the office, I had some interviews early after I got the kids on the bus. My daughter had her first pre-K3 orientation. So that's basically bring the kids in, let them play in the classroom. And I got to do drop off on Wednesday morning. So I just never been to this new school that we're going to. So I'm like, I needed to go this morning just to go see, hey, where do I go to drop her off, next Wednesday when she starts for her first day. So I jumped out of the office for 20 minutes, ran over there so that, was able to get back, still had, all the one-on-ones and everything that we needed to have. I still help out with my kids' sports, you know. I help coach soccer, even though I'm awful at soccer. My both my boys are going to be on the same flag football team. Didn't you coach flag football,
Oh, I
Jamie?
did.
Okay.
Loved it.
I'm going to
Loved
have to get some insight because this is probably the one time that this young age that the K and the two, or yeah, K and two are in the same team. So I'm going to help out there. So I'm really involved. I help out with the sports, and I go to every team night. So I think those are the two things that I make the most priority for, like my business and my family. And I think there's enough time to be able to do both. And I think I realized early on, um, Osborne came into my office. I was a rookie owner, I think, and I heard him run a meeting, and he was talking about how he was the only he was having his first kid, and he was the only dad at like the birthing class that they were going to because it was like on a Wednesday at like 11 o'clock or noon, you know, and he was the only dad that was able to go because all the other dads were working or they didn't care. But but you would assume most of them was like their schedule wise, it didn't make sense. And I remember just hearing that, I'm like, that's cool. I want to create something that, you have the freedoms to be able to do what you want and be where you need to be and be with the people that you need to be at times. And, I don't take advantage of it by any means. And, but I make sure business is taken care of and business is taken care of. I have a lot of freedom and time to be able to do the things that we need to do with our family.
Yeah. I've always said when it comes to priority management, time management, however people want to frame it, the biggest thing I've learned is how to say no.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're saying no to all the unimportant things, and as you're describing it, well, I've got time for my business and I've got time for my family. Like, I'm not rattled on that front either, Jamie. And it's like, yeah, you're saying no to all the, I'm assuming you're not binge watching Netflix till 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, you're saying no to that, right? I
No,
mean,
I
it's
don't do
knowing how to say no and saying yes to flag football.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd much rather be there and I just can't help myself either. I can't, I'm not going to sit on the sideline, and watch it. I'd rather be out there helping the kids.
Oh,
But
100%.
my role is like the hype guy. I'm the eye. So I'm on the sideline. I'm not making the game plan. One of the other coaches for soccer, he's like the C or, he's all organized and he's got all the plans and the printouts. And I'm just over there high-fiving the kids and attaboys and giving them the prep talks when they're
Yeah.
upset.
Hmm. Well, you and I can definitely talk some flag because I would stay up very late drafting up all these unbelievable plays, and then we'd run them in the game. And oh, dude, those
Yeah.
were that might have been one of the highlights of my life is playing, coaching flag football and coaching these young men and women. So much
But
fun.
it was so funny because like last year was our first year playing it. So watching like the K to two, it's basically two grown men playing Madden in real life against each other, right? Because
Yep.
it's like the
No
coach from
doubt.
one team and the coach from the other team, like just calling the plays and they're out there and that was funny. My boy loved it. So it's gonna be fun to watch the two of them on the same team.
Yeah,
That's gonna be a blast.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's fun. You're a great role model, Nick. Again, I like how you're an I, right? You're energized by people, you love people, yet you're steady, like you're just a steady guy who, as you described, you don't have this big ego. You're not comparing yourself to other people. You're a product of your own decisions. So you are where you are because that's where I deserve to be. Like, I think you're just a really good role model, a great example in our business, Nick. So
I
I thank
appreciate
you.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, great. Check it out in 2 hours. You'll see it posted in 2 hours, Nick.
Sounds good. All right. I appreciate it. Thanks, Jamie.
All right. Thanks. See you guys.
You